Welcome to New Light Living Podcast. I'm Ulrika Sullivan. I'm an intuitive spiritual life coach. Today, we're going to talk about multidimensional living and living happier as one with the universe. I'm very passionate about this topic, and it's part of, my book that I wrote, Wisdom Beyond What You Know. And I highly recommend it. And it's really the essence of what I'm writing in the book as a whole, but also what we're going to talk about today. Why does this matter? Why does multidimensional living matter? And simply, we all are, our soul wants to live in harmony and balance with everything. And as human beings, we often are not. We're struggling. We're really trying to figure out why we're here, all of those things. So it's making that shift to align with the universal flow of harmony and balance and love that is naturally around us at all times. But for many, many years, many of us have not even been aware that this is possible to align with. But it takes a shift in perspective. It takes a shift in perspective of who we are and what's possible. And with this shift in perspective into a multidimensional perspective comes an opportunity for expansion beyond what we currently know ourselves to be. And this includes also to being open to relating to what's unseen and not always wanting to see before we believe, and rather turn it around to say, I believe I can have life in harmony and balance without seeing it first. So why does this matter? Multidimensional living, I'm going to talk about the components of it, and you may resonate with some of them and some may be new for you. But I will go into that in a minute. But why does this all matter? It provides us with an opportunity to redefine who we are and redefine what success is in our lives. It gives us an opportunity to tap into our own wisdom that we came here with, our gifts and talents that we don't even have to learn. It gives us a new way to live our lives if we want to. And it gives us new ways to connect and create and relate to each other. There are a number of different shifts, positive shifts that can happen when we shift perspective of who we are and what we're here to do. Now, the specific overarching shift that we're talking about here is to shift from being driven by the mind to living from the heart and intuition. And that's really the essence of multidimensional living, the heart component and the intuition component, and how we allow ourselves to perceive ourselves and our life here in a different way through the lens of our heart, as facilitated by our intuition and that connection to the unseen. So I'm excited to talk with you about all of this today, because this is an episode where I'm tying up some bows and knots here in terms of what I'm here to share with you. And one of the things that I deeply believe that we are in a shift right now to become more conscious, and that we have an opportunity to become more conscious of our own actions, our past and how it has affected us, our actions today and decisions, and our power on how we can shift our perspective ourselves without the help of somebody else or learning something new or um, need something else, right? It's an inner shift. It's all about the inner shift that can take us to new heights, new ways to connect and create. So, what are those components of multidimensional living? And in my opinion, it's first of all, the shift from being disconnected with our lives into making that commitment. I'm going to learn more about myself. I'm making myself a commitment to take responsibility for my life and what I'm doing here and how I'm showing up. And it's in that process the opportunity to become self-aware and putting our lives first, our own life, as I say, sometimes says, putting ourselves at the top of our own mountain in our own life and become sovereign so that we can operate as an empowered being instead of being entangled with others and suffering from that. I'm making generalizations here, but that is what many of us are experiencing today. And from there, take the leap into actually becoming what we are instead of leaving it as a thought up in the mind, but actually embody it and become it and live it and express it. And from there, really utilizing our own innate wisdom that our body knows, our soul knows, and bringing it out here in this life right now. And from there, manifest effortlessly instead of having to push and strive and, elbow ourselves through our life. So all of this is going in the direction of more harmony and balance. And that's why I'm so drawn to multidimensional living in this way, because I've made some major shifts for myself in my life towards this. And this is what I want to share with you. I want this for you as well, right? So in the past 6 months, we've talked about in various podcast episodes about all of these different components that I believe are essential to making that shift into multidimensional living from the heart and intuition. And one of the things that comes very often up to the top of the list is to become energy aware, to become aware of how our energy works within the body, but also our aura and how we run energy. And because it's all different from individual to individual, how we run energy, but it doesn't stop there. It's also how we can set boundaries to feel that we are empowered, energetic boundaries. And once we start to learn that and get insights about how I work, how you work, we can interact with each other differently. The interaction within myself becomes different when I feel empowered and not giving my energy away when I don't want to. So the increase in self-awareness here when it comes to energy awareness is so important. And you've heard me talk about this in a number of episodes in the past. Why is this important? Because it is in this energy of our own life force that we pull out our innate creativity and inspiration and our spark of what comprises our soul. And it's when we tap into that creativity and inspiration that we can start enliven our uniqueness on who we are deep down in our soul. And that is what we can bring out in this life to really enrich our environment and ourselves. And again, that points to once we do that, we experience more harmony and balance in our life, just naturally as we tap into our creativity and inspiration. And many of us have not done that for so many years, and it's never too late to tap into your innate creativity. But it's a hugely important part of all of this. Now, the part here that I'd love to emphasize as well is the importance of self-care. And self-care I put in a very big umbrella, because self-care to me is so much more than tending to the external appearance. It is to tend to our internal appearance, to ourselves, becoming our own guru on ourselves and our own life first. Because empowerment comes from that, to learn how to source that loop of love within yourself, so that you don't have to get codependent on, or release codependency rather, on family members or friends or things, behaviors, releasing those patterns that are not serving you anymore. By allowing yourself to find that self-love fueled by your creativity, inspiration, things that you already know, that you came here with, awaken that. With all of that comes with feeling empowered. And with that, we can put ourselves at the top of our own mountain in our own life, right? Sovereignty is so important, but it cannot happen until we find that loop of self-love within ourselves, and constantly feed ourselves that. Because it is when we do that and we feel harmony and balance within, we can start tapping into that innate wisdom and get out of the hamster wheel of learning and seeking and constantly seeking the next thing, and instead allowing ourselves to receive. Because wisdom is an energy of receiving and sharing, with no expectation in return, right? And again, it's all about energy, as you hear me speak here. And at the end of the day, we want to create new supportive things that allow ourselves to stay in this harmony and balance. And manifesting is very different from pushing. Manifesting is an energetic alignment. And all of these things that we've been talking about, energy awareness, self-awareness, putting ourselves first in our life, tapping into what inspires us, and bring that out in the world, becoming it, embodying it. That is all about our own wisdom. And this is how we can allow ourselves to be just who we are. Now, this confidence, this self-assurance, and this loop of self-love is facilitated by starting to listen to our own true self, our truth, and listening to the universe, spirit, God, whatever you want to call it, but it is an alignment with higher energy that is supportive of us every day. And this is where we can start to trust that we are on the right path. So what you are here to do is unique. What you are here to be is unique. And you are here to do what you need to do in this life because you're here. And just as you are is what you came here for. So this is an opportunity to make a shift and just scale away everything that is not you. So, and sometimes that comes with a feeling of letting the burden go, letting the burdens go that we either have put on ourselves or we feel that others have put on ourselves, expectations, interpretations, things like that. And all of this points to our desire, our innate desire to have more harmony and balance. in existence with everything. So I hope this have helped you to form a perspective if this is something that is calling you, or if that feels something that you want to learn more about, dig deeper in for yourself. And I invite you to read more in chapter 18 of my book, Wisdom Beyond What You Know, about multidimensional living. And one of the keys to multidimensional living, as I mentioned in the book as well, is to create a spiritual practice. And I'm like, this is one of the keys to multidimensional living, I feel, because when it becomes a routine, a part of us, like brushing our teeth in the morning, this is a spiritual practice is when we connect with the universe every day, when it becomes part of how we relate and live our lives. And it's a shift from always feeling we need to figure things out with our mind to a heart energy of receiving harmony, balance, and live our lives from that outset, rather than the mind stories of, oh, I need to get that, I need to have a plan to get my next thing do, and it has to be a certain way, all of those stories that the mind makes up, right? And you can relate to this if you're here listening this far. You are with me in terms of that energetic shift that this is all about, and it's facilitated through a spiritual practice, not just once in a while, every day. So what is that spiritual practice for you? How are you going to put yourself in a centered state, invite harmony and balance in your life every day? It starts there with that commitment to yourself. Thank you for being here. I'm so happy you're here listening to New Light Living podcast. I just want to say thank you to all the listeners who've been with me over many months. And this episode is our last episode in season 3. So right now, I will take a little pause, recharge, rest, and plan for season 4. Have a great summer. Thank you for being here. Bye.